Good morning everyone. So in our previous lesson, we have started class 8 chapter 1 that was of resource utilization and development. So we have come to know what are resources, how to develop the resources and how to utilize it, and different types of resources. There were certain bases we have seen that on those bases we have classified different kinds of resources. So second chapter considered natural resources. Now the nature has already bestowed us some resources like land, soil and water, and we the human are using this land, soil and water, and we are producing new resources. Like we are using land and soil and water and we are growing crops. From those crops we are attaining our food securities. Okay, so this is how the natural resources we are utilizing. From this chapter we will be learning in detail about land resources, soil resources and water resources, and how human beings are disturbing the land, soil and water, and what are the solutions are coming up how to protect land, soil and water resources. So this will be the three categories, and we will be dividing it in 3 parts, and we will dealing with this chapter. So let us begin. I am using DAV CMC book for class 8 for this video, and those who want CBSE NCERT based class 8 geography, definitely I'll try to upload, but more or less the syllabus, the curriculum, the structure of the text is equivalent in both the syllabus. Okay, so without wasting time, let us begin. So Earth is a unique planet in the solar system, right? So life is possible on the Earth because of 4 spheres. Now the first is lithospheres, comes to the rock, the sphere of rock, atmosphere, an envelope of air, atmosphere, hydrosphere, the layer of water, and biosphere, it considers the life. Each and every creature which has life, so they are the part of biosphere. Earth's surface is divided into 2 parts, land and water. Land covers about 30% of the total surface area of the earth, whereas water about 70% its total surface. Now don't get confused. If 70% of water in total surface and of its total surface, then why are we facing such scarcity of water? Because rest of the water is 90% of water is saline. Only 1% water remains fresh, and that we can consume. So these make a big difference. All right, so that's why all the time we are protesting, we are making rallies on to how to save water. So when we will start learning water resources, then we will talk about this more. Let us begin with the land resources now. Now land resources, the most important natural resource upon which all human activity is based is land. It is used for growing crops, building houses, construction of roads, railway tracks, whatnot, establishing industries, grazing animals, mining, etc. In short, almost all the human activities related to food, shelter, clothing takes place on earth, on land. So our basic needs are of food, shelter, clothing. Food and water, shelter and clothing. These are basic needs. To fulfill our basic needs, we need land. Lithosphere consists of loose surface material called soil. So lithosphere considers several layers Sial, Sima, all those things we have read. And the first layer where organic matter is present and we grow crops. The loose friable matter present on the top layer of the surface is known as soil. So it is a combination of organic matter and inorganic matter. Organic matter is the dead, decomposed plants and animals. So these forms the organic structure, and inorganic is the rocks and minerals. Right? The hard rock, soft rock, what are the materials are present? Sand, silt, clay, the rocky structure, what are the minerals present? Phosphorus, potassium, aluminium, ferrous, manganese. So all these makes the inorganic part, and the dead decomposed plants and animal makes the organic part. Organic components which consist of dead decomposed parts of animals are known as humus. Some soil you will find which very rich in humus, which are in dark in color. Some soil you will find that their humus content is less. Okay, so this is how we can segregate soil into two parts. Soil is formed as a result of long continued weathering process of rock. It also contains water and air which occupy the pore space. Okay, if we see the soil particles like this way, you will find there's a gap in between two soil particles. So this gap is known as pore space. The more the pore space, the huge chances to seep water through the particles. Lesser the pore space, the water will be stagnant on top of the soil. So this soil is clayey soil, this soil is loamy or sandy soil. So this is how on the basis of pore space also we can classify soil. So we will do this in detail in the soil resources portion. Right now let us proceed. So about 90% of the world's population inhabited in plain areas, which is very rich in alluvial soil of tropical and subtropical areas. These are the areas of intensive crop cultivation with high yields. All these areas support dense population. In contrast, sparse population is seen in areas of high altitudes, deserts and equatorial forest region, where slopes are steep, the temperature is either too high or too cold, soils are very thin and infertile. As we see in the desert or mountainous terrain, soil are very thin and infertile. But you see in the plains, you will find that in plains soil are very thick covered of soil, and soil remains very fertile in nature. So land use. Here, land is used for various purposes, such as cultivation of crops, building of houses, construction of roads and railways, grazing of animals, etc. So this is commonly known as land use pattern. That means in what ways you are using land, available land, in what ways you are using. The percentage of land used for various purposes varies from one region to another. I am having a piece of land, I am growing crops on it. Some having the same amount of land and they are setting an industry on it. Some are making schools or colleges on it. So different people having different uses of the land. The utilization of land is determined by the continuous interplay of physical factors such relief, soil, climate, mineral resources, etc. The land which is full of minerals, people come up with the industry. The land is completely infertile, people can come up with some other types of job opportunities. A land with agricultural possibilities, agro-based industries can be set nearby. So this is how the land use can be different from one place to another. Human factors like density of population, the technological advancement, social requirements of the people are also affecting the land use pattern. Like if a particular region is overpopulated, so we see that in the urban sectors, the wastelands or the forested areas are being cleared up for making the shelters. So this is how different peoples are using land in different manner. The study of land use pattern is important for the economic planning of a nation. It helps in accessing shortcomings in the land utilization, and countries decide the land use according to their development goals and the availability of natural resources. According to the scientific norms, 33% areas should be under forest to maintain ecological balance. So this thing is very important. If the question comes, how much area should be under forested forest to maintain the ecological balance, your answer is supposed to be 33%. At present, only 31.6% area of the world is covered by the forest. Out of this, 93% forests are naturally occurring, while 7% are man-made. The Earth's forest cover is unevenly distributed, with some countries having most of their land covered by forest while others have only limited forest cover. It is very important for us to take initiative to conserve forest by discouraging deforestation, encouraging afforestation. Moving on to the next, the availability of land on earth is limited. There is conflict over the access and rights of the natural resource. It has resulted in tough competition between agriculture and other sectors of usage of land. Like, they suffer various problems such as soil erosion, land degradation, deforestation, etc. I said that for giving shelter to the increasing number of population, people are clearing forest, cutting down recklessly, and they are making road and communication network, railway tracks for the communication purpose, and eventually they are eroding the land, degrading the land and deforesting, and they are giving shelter to the people. And this is how there are several ecological imbalances are going on. It is crucial to reduce land degradation and ensure optimum use of land resources for the benefit of present and future generation. So sustainability is very important here. Land management is a holistic approach for achieving productive and balanced ecosystem by integrating socio-economic needs of the people. So what we have understood, what are the problems we have seen of land degradation, soil erosion, deforestation, reckless cutting of trees, all these are overgrazing, all these are problem. And what are the solution? We need to conserve it for our future generation. Okay, and we need to use in an optimum way. Judicially we should utilize. Okay, let us come to the soil portion. As said that what is soil? Okay, soil is the upper layer of the surface, loose friable layer on the surface is known as soil. As a resource, soil is of immense value to the farmer because the fertile soil gives us food. Agricultural production is mainly depend upon the fertility of the soil. Rich and deep soil cover with a high degree of fertility favors the agricultural production. On the other hand, if the soil cover is shallow and lacks fertility, agriculture production will be less. Therefore, a thick layer of fertile soil is very important for the growth of plants. Animals also depend upon the soil to satisfy their basic need, as soil gives nutrient to plants. It gives shelter to the insects, animals, rats, snakes, whatnot, earthworm, ants, etc. Soil is also used for making bricks and pottery. So this industry is also based on soil. Agro-based industry is also based on soil. So we have learned up to this regarding soil, what are the different uses of soil and why should we protect. effect. Now let us come to the process of soil formation. Okay, first thing we need to understand from where the soil is coming. The soil is coming from parent rock. And what is the process? The process is weathering. What do we call it? Weathering is the disintegration of parent rock. Okay, I'm writing it short, but those of you are sitting with a copy, do make sure that you are writing in full, otherwise you will forget it. Okay, so parent rock, after the process of weathering on it, they are becoming regolith. Okay, so regolith is this kind of formation of the parent rock, which is the disintegrated weathered rock particles. Okay, so on the weathered rock, when the decomposition of organic matter happens, then only we are getting the actual or the final soil. Okay, so which process is known as the actual soil forming process? Decomposition of organic matter on the regolith makes actual soil forming process, and the outcome we get the actual soil. Okay, so let us come to the factors affecting soil formation. So after Sir V.V. Dokuchev, we have got five factors affecting the soil formation. So first is climate, relief feature, organic matter, parent rock, and time. So these are the 5 factors which actually affect the soil formation. Okay, let us come to one after another in detail. So parent rock, an original parent rock from which soil is formed by the process of weathering, is known as parent rock. For an example, black soil comes from lava rock. Lava rock is hard, igneous rock. So the parent rock decides the soil texture and structure. Clear? The topographical variations such as mountain, plateaus, plains affect the thickness of soil cover. In mountainous regions, on the steep slope, the top layers of soil is shallow and thin. On the other hand, at gentle slopes, the soil cover is thick and deep. Soil cover is always thick in plains. For example, the northern plains of India have thick soil cover compared to Himalayas, because in the northern plains we find rivers are carrying the sediments and they are time to time they are depositing, and it happens from ages. So a thick layer of sediments are being deposited. So that's why in the plains we get thick soil cover in plains, but in mountainous or hilly terrain, we find that hilly terrains are mostly boulders or pebbles are there. Okay, and the thin cover of soil we get to see there because it is always erosion prone. Erosion is more there. So the soil doesn't get time to settle down and become a thick layer. It always one moment, other moment it is eroding. That's why the layer is very thin. I hope I am clear to this. Moving on to the climatic factor, like temperature and rainfall affect the soil formation. Okay, the high rainfall and extreme temperature rocks are easily weathered, because if it is heavily raining, then the excess water will wash out the upper layer of the soil, and it will kept weakening the soil. But the region which is of less temperature, less rainfall, or even in the high rainfall areas, the inorganic matter gets circulation inside the soil profile. So the physical properties are also renewed by the rainfall or by the leaching process. So that is missing in the less rainfall zone. In Rajasthan, due to extreme difference in day and night temperature, rocks expand and contract. Like a rock which is in the daytime it tries to expand and in the night time it contracts. So what happens that there a crack or a fracture occur, and from that crack or fracture it start disintegrating. Okay, and in region of heavy rainfall, soluble log rock material easily gets dissolved and washed away by the running water. Thus, it affects the soil formation. So this is how it happens, and in this portion do mention each and every factor with one or two examples to support your answer. Okay. Let's come to the vegetation. So at times plants grow in the cracks existing in a rock. With time, roots of the plant start penetrating in the rocks like this. If there is a crack, then plants come out from this, okay, and start penetrating in the rock and make them wider. So they get the root of the plant give pressure to the walls of the crack or the fracture and makes disintegration of rocks. So as a result, crack disintegrate into the smaller pieces. The rocks will come out and it will be eventually broken into pieces. Remains of dead or decomposed plants and animals provide humus to the soil, which enriches the fertility of the soil. The soil of densely forested area is generally rich in humus content. With soil, we have learned that humus is more black soil. Okay. Humus is the organic matter or dead decomposed plants and animal found in the top layer of the soil. Time. Now time is the last and most important thing. Time gives the soil maturity. Although soil is renewable resource, so yet it takes thousands of years to develop a very thin layer. So the more old soil, the more mature soil. Okay, for example, the Nile Delta and Delta formed Ganga, Brahmaputra rivers have very deep and thick fertile soil. How come we are getting? Since ages, this all these erosion, transportation and depositional actions are going on, and layer after layer the river systems are sedimenting or depositing the sediments. That's why we get thick cover of the soil here in the delta or the lowland region. Fertile soil is very essential for agriculture, that we know, and our country is more than 75% people are engaged in agricultural works. So you understand that how important fertility of the soil is. It helps to maintain food security of the world, but it has been observed that fertility of soil is severely damaged by soil erosion. In soil erosion, the top layer of the soil is removed by the natural agents such as water, wind, glacier, etc. Even when there is a surface runoff is more, the top layer is washed out by excessive runoff. Okay, that also causes the soil to break, such as deforestation, overgrazing, mining. These works activities are also degrading soils. The need of conserving soil from erosion has become one of the major environmental concerns these days. Now let us come to what is soil conservation and how can we conserve soil. Soil conservation is prevention of soil from being eroded. So we are preventing the soil from being eroded. Various methods of soil conservations are there, like afforestation, rows of trees or shelter belt we can make. We can stop overgrazing. Steps should be taken to check the reckless cutting of trees or felling of trees. Floods should be avoided by building dams and across the river. Terrace farming, contour plowing, scientific agricultural practices like rotation of crops, strip cropping, seasonally when you rotate different crops and you cultivate, then your fertility of the soil can be balanced, should be systematically followed. Now the difference between terrace farming and contour plowing. Terrace farming is growing crops on one level, on the level steps of terraces. Okay, so it will look like this. In the mountainous terrain, you must have seen that this kind of terrace cultivation we are doing, and the water can easily drain out from the through the stairs. Okay, stair-like structures. So this is how terrace farming can be done, and we can restrict soil erosion. And what is contour plowing? Is a technique of plowing parallel to the contours. Now let us come to what are contours. Contours are the imaginary lines of equal heights. Right, so if it is 100, it is 80, it is 60 contour. So the 60 meters of height, all the places are connected or joined by the 60-meter contour. So this is how we are getting the contours, and we are trying to plow parallel to the contours of hill slope rather than up down slope, rather than like this stairs. Okay, so we are planning to plow according the contours here, so that we can reduce the soil erosion. So this is the do you know portion. Still the difference you should know, and it may come in your exam for short question or 2 or 3 marks question. Okay, moving on to the last segment of our video today, that is water resources. Before starting water resources, if there's any doubt in soil and land part, you for sure comment me down below. I can instantly give you the solutions or try to clear it up for you. Okay, so water is one of the most precise resource. Earth is also called a watery plant because nearly 70% of the earth's surface is covered with water. About 97% of the earth's total water is present in oceans and seas. This is saline water, which supports incredibly biodiversity of marine life, but is not suitable for human consumptions or watering crops. The remaining 3% is fresh water, which is found in the following forms. So 0.32% is available in lakes, rivers, atmospheric and soil moisture. 2% is in the form of ice caps or glaciers. 0.68% available as groundwater. Now let us come to the surface water. Surface water means the water which is present above the earth's surface in the form of rivers, streams, lakes, etc. The main source of fresh water is rainfall. The rainwater continuously gets recycled in nature through evaporation, condensation and precipitation, which is known as hydrological cycle. So we are getting the incoming solar insolation. It heats up the surface water. When the surface water is heated up, it becomes light and goes to the upper atmosphere, and then it condenses, make cloud, and when the cloud is full of water particles, it can't move or cannot hold anymore, it starts raining. So the same water comes to the surface water and contribute to the surface water. So this is water cyclic condition. So we call it water cycle or hydrological cycle. So most of the fresh water on the earth is found in the rivers, stream, lakes, ponds, ice cap, underground water. The distribution of fresh water resources on the earth surface is uneven. So let us come to the diagram first. So here is surface water. Okay, so due to the sun rays come and heat it up the surface water. Maybe it is river water, it is ocean water or lake water. It heats up, and then it forms vapor and it tries to move to the upper atmosphere. Then it forms cloud. And what is cloud? Cloud is a nebula full of water droplets or ice particles. Right? Now when the cloud is full of ice droplet and it is unable to move or hold anymore, it starts raining, or we say it precipitates. Either it rains, drizzle or hail or snowing. It can snow also depending upon the climatic condition or weather phenomena of that particular area. So what are the processes are there? First is insolation. The sun rays are there, then it heats up, and then the evaporation happens. After evaporation, we see condensation, the cloud formation process. Then when the cloud is unable to hold the moisture, it rains. So that is precipitation. And after the word precipitation, what we got, that the same water comes and joins the surface water once again. Okay, so this is how the whole cyclic process happens. We call it water cycle or hydrological cycle. Clear? Moving on to the next. Fresh water is found in abundance at places which receives heavy rainfall, whereas availability of water is less in areas where rainfall is low. The average annual precipitation of the world is estimated to 1050 millimeters per year or 2.9 millimeters per day. The map given on the adjacent page indicates that areas of high rainfall and areas of low rainfall. If you see a map, you will find that equatorial region of South America, Africa, Southeast Asia, these are having abundance of water because the rainfall is much than other part of the world. Whereas areas of low rainfall is tropical desert like Sahara, Arabian, Central and Western Australia, Kalahari, Central and Northern Eurasia, Central Asia, polar areas are absolutely no rainfall zone. Okay, now let us come to the problem. As I have already mentioned that basically we are dealing in this chapter with the problems and the solutions. So what are the problems related to water? The quality of water is in edge of damage. Some rivers is adversely affected as the untreated industrial waste or urban waste is dumped into them. This makes the river water unsuitable for consumption. I have mentioned that 1% are only fresh water left which are fit for human consumption. So it is high alert that now it is time to save water. Otherwise, we will be unable to have water which is very necessary for our survival. The polluted water, if consumed, causes many diseases like cholera, jaundice, typhoid, etc. It also disturbs the ecosystem, hence serious efforts are being made to clean water in the rivers. Now another project like multi-purpose river valley projects have been developed all over the world to utilize water in varied ways. These projects serve many objectives at the same time. Under a multi-purpose river valley project, a dam or a series of dams are constructed across the river for storing water. This stored water is used for several purposes such as irrigation to give water to your agricultural field, generating hydroelectricity. You are using flowing water and you have a turbine, you can run that turbine and you can use that flowing water and you can generate electricity. Okay, afforestation, flood control, even the navigation purpose also we can utilize water. Such major water multi-purpose river valley projects are in our country, Damodar and Hirakud, Aswan in Egypt, Hoover Valley project in United States of America are the most major multi-purpose river valley projects. The dams are very useful for various purposes, but large dams have come under a lot of criticisms from environmentalists as they are causing ecological problems like extensive forests submerged underwater, river water get diverted. It can be when you are setting up a dam, a normal course of a river can divert it to other direction, which can cause population get displaced, aquatic life get affected, polluted, even the soil erosion, land degradation may happen. During excessive rain, floods may occur. So basically, multipurpose river valley projects are basically for flood control or drought control. They can control the flow of water when and where is possible. But sometimes it happens that it causes several problems, ecological problems we deal with. So these are the things we need to think before we set up or set a mind to have all such dams and all. So let us come to water conservation methods. Now, water is an indispensable resource. The resources are limited and reducing every year. Due to the effects of global warming, the frequency of rain has also unpredictable. We don't know that monsoon delays in our country. Some day it is heavily rain, some day it is no rainfall. So we cannot predict. It is very essential to save water. Following are the ways by which we can actually save water. Water harvesting is one of the method to save surface water runoff. The surface water runoff can be minimized by having vegetation cover. The demand of water from industries be met by the recycled water. The water, like you are washing your utensils or washing your vegetables, that water you are dumping it. Instead of this unused water, you can give this water to your garden, or you can use this water to wash your floor or something. So this is how we can also reduce the amount of water each and every day we are wasting from our homes. Watering plants, flushing toilets, etc. can be reused or reduced. Water can be saved by adopting modern methods of irrigation. Instead of drip or trickle irrigation technique, we can have sprinkle irrigation, which can reduce the amount of water. The rainwater can be impounded by making dams across the rivers. Water can be conserved by installing water fixtures such as sensor taps in public places. So once we are not using, it can be automatically switched off. So maintenance of lakes, ponds also helps in increasing aquifers of underground water. Water can be conserved by educating and sensitizing people towards the urgent need of conserving water and not to waste fresh water. That people like us who are living along the riverbeds, we are hardly know the fact that water is everywhere. Water is not in abundance, right? So the people who are living in the core part of Rajasthan or the desert region, they walk early in the morning up to 10 miles to fetch a vessel of water. And for that particular vessel, they are using even for their drinking purposes, their domestic purposes, what not. So we should realize that water is not equally distributed everywhere. Some are having abundance of water, some are not. So we should utilize water in an optimum way, judicially, so that we can save it for our further generation. As the water which is fit to consumption, it is very less left in the surface of the earth. So up to this today, the class was around land, soil and water resources, and what are the different problems causing ecological imbalance and how to protect all these three resources. If there's any question, you can comment us through the comment section below, and we will be very soon available with the chapter 3 of class 8 DAV CMC book. Till then, keep learning and don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon. Till then, thank you and keep learning.